Hello, Miss Putri and everyone. My name is Bryan Sukianto, and in this presentation, I'd like to talk about understanding adaptation. What is adaptation? Adaptation is the process of transferring a work from one form to another. Adaptations have been carried out since the beginning of civilization to share ideas, teachings, and stories. In a book of A Theory of Adaptation, Linda Hutchins says that since the Victorian era, people have been accustomed to adapting to art, music, poetry, painting, and others. Adaptation has three forms. Telling is conveying stories through written text, like novels or comics. Showing, conveying the story through visual or performance, like a film or a theater. And interacting, the medium and the audience are engaged in an attraction. It's like a video games. Adaptations has also three modes. The first is telling to showing. It's the process of adapting a text story into a performance or visual. This adaptation requires dramatization because it transforms the narrative of the written text into dialogue, action, sound, and visuals. The second is showing the showing. It's the process of adapting from one show to another. For example, it's like a movie to a theater or movie that is remade. And interacting to telling or showing is an adaptation of a medium that has interactivity into a performance or visual or storytelling. It's like a video game that becomes a film. In adaptation, there is an adapter. It's a person or party who adapts. So this adapter can consist of more than one person. For example, it's like in the movies or in the TV, the adapters is like a screenwriter, music composer, actor, director, and editor. So why should adapt? The first reason is the economic lures. Adaptation can produce a new work that is relevant and has economic benefits. And the second, the legal constraints. Adaptation becomes something legal because it is bound by the law. The law regulates how works can be adapted by not making the adapter a thief of someone else's work. The third is cultural capital. Each work contains cultural and social value. By adapting a work, um, someone can give back cultural and social value to a new medium. And the fourth is personal and political motives. Adaptations are also made due to the personal interest and creativity of the adapter, but it can also be because there is a political motivation to respond to social conditions that are happening as a form of social criticism. So, adaptation is a process that has continued since ancient times, not to copy a work, but to reinterpret, to recreate, and give a new meaning to a story in a new medium, in a new form in every age. Then Hutchins says that adapted text must be interpreted and recreated into a new form. Comic to film. The history of this adaptation is the relationship between comics and movies. They have been going on since both emerged as a mass media. Characters like Superman or Batman have appeared in movies long before the blockbuster era. Um, Here are some terms to understand a comic. The first comic book is a single issue of a series. Thread collection, a single volume that collects several single or consecutive editions. Miniseries, limited series or one volume of a limited series. Spin-off, a new comic that focuses on one character from another series. Crossover is an edition featuring characters from other series. Gutter, it is the space between the panels. Consciously or unconsciously, the reader will imagine in this void. The comparison. Both are narratives that are delivered visually, but have differences. In comic, the reader can determine for themselves the speed at which the story goes by reading. Each panel can be observed sooner or later, and the reader's imagination feels its gather between the panels. But in the movies, the audience follows the pace set by the filmmaker. The moving images that appear are a guide from the director to the audience. The difficulties of adapting comics to films. The first is static panel to moving frame. The director must provide a connecting motion from a dead image, from one panel to another, into a moving image. The second is ratio. Comics have freedom in determining the size and the shape of the panels, whereas movies are bound to a fixed aspect ratio. And the selection of story elements. The limitation of the film make the adapter have to compress the comic into terms of canon selection, reduction of characters, the background, and etc. so that it can be fit to the medium of the film. According to Smith in 2009, there are some approaches to adaptation from comic to films. The first, faithful adaptations to the original. This is the model that is faithful to the source material. Every element contained in the source, like character plots, is transferred to another medium without any change. The second is adaptation that take thematic and ideological elements from the comics. This takes the certain elements of the comic, like a character setting, plot, themes, and ideological, into a film, but does not prioritize the fidelity because even though the themes and ideology are taken from the comic, the director does not fully follow the storyline of the source. And the third is adaptation that take basic elements from the comics. The third model in this approach that only takes the basic elements of the comic, like a character, attributes, and settings, but does not use the theme and the meaning of the story from the comic. So, the basic elements are taken and transferred into the film and become a new story, a new setting, a new plot, new conflict. So this adaptation can change the meaning and the theme from the source. Here are some examples of adaptation works. From comic to films. It's Naruto. Naruto is a manga or comic series by Masashi Kishimoto that was adapted into an anime series into a film in 2002. This comic tells the story of the life of Naruto Uzumaki, a young ninja who aspires to become the Hokage. The Hokage is the leader and the strongest ninja in the village. So this adaptation is using the approach type 2, according to Smith, because they are capturing representational elements. The character, setting, plots, thematic elements, and ideological from Naruto comics are still poured into the anime, into the film. In the film, the main characters are Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, set in the ninja era, set in the village of Konoha, with the main theme that Naruto struggled to become a Hokage and his friendship with Sasuke. All of these elements are present in both the comic and film. Partial fidelity. In the anime, there are some additional stories that are not found in the comic, such as episodes that tell the additional missions, deeper instruction to side characters, and etc. However, even though there are additional stories in the anime, in the movie, All of these stories do not change the main theme and storyline of Naruto comic. On the other hand, in the Naruto anime, there are several scenes that are deleted or refined from the manga version. It's like the sadistic fight scenes, or weapons, wounds, blood are smoothed out in the anime in the film version because it's like comply with the cinema censorship so that the Naruto film can be watched by various ages. The comparison. For me personally, the main comparison between the film and the anime is the term of visual. The Naruto comic use very detailed depiction with the realist character types, which is the hallmark of the writer Masashi Kishimoto. While in the anime, it becomes less detailed, probably due to the technology of the time, which is still difficult to make film or anime or moving image for 100 episodes. And in the anime, in the film, the movement of characters or image looks stiff, so the story feels slower and the fight scenes do not look so exciting and tense. Uniquely, although in the comics it is still an image, but due to the touch of art of the Masashi Kishimoto and his team, the images are even just black and white, but it's like something alive. The fight scenes, angles, gradation, details, and everything looks so stunning, making the comic reader feel like they are entering the world created by the author. So for me, the adaptation of a work from one medium to another is not something that must be compared to determine which is better, because each medium has its own context and purpose. It's like coffee that can be drunk, whether hot or cold. It comes back to what person who drinks it wants. There's no better or worse, so it comes back to the choice of each person. Adaptation reminds us that ideas and stories have no boundaries. They flow freely across forms, shaping the values of civilization. That's all from me. Thank you.